Hi, everybody. Welcome to this latest episode of Real Talk with Rick. And so in this episode, I was able to sit down with our retired, by the time you're listening to this, he is our retired police chief, Greg Weber. Greg Weber was with the Eden Prairie Police Department for over 31 years. And so I had a chance to sit down with him and talk about his 31 years with the Eden Prairie Police Department, his thoughts on his time here. I also wanted to spend a little bit of time, asking some questions about him personally and what drives him, and some of his thoughts on what he plans on doing after a 31-year career in policing and with the Eden Prairie Police Department. So I enjoyed the conversation. We had a couple good laughs. He had some good stories. And here is my conversation with Police Chief Greg Weber. Chief Greg Weber, thank you for coming on. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, well, while we're recording this, you are still the Chief of Police for the city of Eden Prairie, but when this actually comes out and people are listening to it, you will have ridden off into the sunset when people are listening to this. But today, at least when you're taping, you are here in uniform and have at least 2 more days of solid police work to do.
Best behavior then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to start at the beginning. I want to start when you decided you wanted to be a police officer. What was your spark that led you to want to be a police officer?
You know, it's kind of ironic where I'm ending my career because there's a lot of predictability. But I was really drawn to it by the excitement, the adrenaline, not knowing what I'd be doing from moment to moment, and being surprised and not having a routine. That was very appealing. And I've always really simply enjoyed people. Any type of work that I can interact with and build relationships with people. People are fun. They're fun to be around. They're fun to converse with, and that portion of it is very important to me. Has been important, will be important, but policing is a people business, and so those 2 factors I think were really the driving things that drew me to it.
So you were how old roughly, and what were you doing at the time that you said that this is something I want to do? What else were you doing at the time? I think you were pretty young when you started.
I think every maybe kid goes through that phase where they want to be a police officer or something, and this was really maybe later for me in life. High school, recognizing that I had to start thinking about what I wanted to do. I think before that I had always thought about something more in the construction trades, electrician, something of that nature. And as the end of high school closed in, I thought, well, here's something where I can interact with people and have that variety.
You said that when you were in high school, that's when you had to figure out what you wanted to do. Because that's pretty. Yeah. Actually, that's pretty early, Greg.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people like even yours truly here that didn't know what a city manager was. A year into graduate school. So no, you were thinking it through a little bit earlier than most.
I guess, though, in all honesty, I probably still haven't figured out what I want to do.
That's understandable. Well, you said certainly. I mean, variety is definitely a big part of policing. So yeah, every day is different. Do you you started in May of 1990 as an officer in Eden Prairie, so that kind of grounds everybody in how long you've been here, over 31 years with the department, starting as an officer. What's changed since the early 90s when you started here and today?
Well, I remember when I started, I think we had 39 officers, and we're approaching, the lower 70s now. Calls for service-wise, I think we did 17,000 the first year I was here, and we kind of I think our peak in 2012 was 60,000 calls for service, but we're in that 40 to 50,000 calls for service range today. So I think it's gotten busier. I think what hasn't changed is that people in this community have always been very supportive of the police department, and we've always had a very good relationship. So I tend to maybe focus more on what hasn't changed than what has. It's just a great community with really good people, and it always has been.
Right. No. So, I mean, you're kind of tracking the growth of the community, right? I mean, the growth in population, the development of the city, residential, commercial development, more people, more activity, more calls, absolutely. But at the same time, as you said, kind of the culture of your department and the interaction with the community has been positive the entire time, which is great.
Yeah.
So maybe really quickly give a little bit of the arc of your career, which is, somewhat typical in a lot of different departments, in our departments, to someone who becomes a chief. You start as an officer on patrol.
Yeah.
You don't have to give the exact years, but just really quick, Greg, kind of take us through your path.
So first couple years patrol, and then I had an opportunity to go work investigations, what we call a career development spot, for a short stint. And I didn't really care for it. Again, I think as a young person who really thrived on the variety, knowing you were going to come back to work on Monday morning. I didn't really care for that. Went back to patrol, and then we had a corporal position, which was a frontline supervisor that I was promoted into in 1995, and then became a sergeant in 1996. Spent 11 years as 12 years as a sergeant, and had a variety of assignments, the majority of it in the patrol division. And then I worked in our investigations division, supervising our school resource officers for a couple years in 2006 and 2007. And then was promoted to lieutenant in 2008. Was able to transfer through the three divisions of investigation, support, and patrol through 2016, at which time I was promoted to captain. And then in 2018, I was promoted to deputy chief, and 6 months later, the chief position became available. And you were kind enough to offer it to me, and trusting, so thank you.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the chief's position since September of 2018.
Yeah. You talk about, so there's a lot of exposure to the different areas of the police department. So, you mentioned kind of the three divisions, and so you have, lieutenants in support and investigations and patrol, and you covered all those, and there's a wide variety in that.
Yeah.
So maybe just give a flavor for anyone listening about kind of how those three areas work.
So patrol is really what we would describe as the backbone of the police department. That's where the majority of the sworn officers are at. Pushing the black and white cars around, answering the radio calls, going to medicals and calls in progress, and they're really that face of the department. That's generally when people contact us for service. That's who they see first. And then the investigations division, we have the adult investigations that does all of the follow-up on criminal investigations cases, and then our school resource unit that provides staffing or officers to work with the Eden Prairie School District to collaborate and build relationships with the students in the schools, and be present as a deterrent, and to hopefully enhance safety within the schools. And then the support division is dispatch, records, training. They do the training unit does a lot of the oversight of our recruiting and hiring of officers. We have licensing that manages all of the tobacco, liquor, massage, peddler licensing, and then zoning which does a lot of the more neighborhood issues that would not necessarily require a police officer to go to. Maybe people aren't maintaining their home on the exterior, or there's some quality of life issues that they'll hopefully mediate.
Sure, absolutely. And thinking about the support piece too, technology is a big part of that.
Oh, yeah.
Over the year. Yeah. So that, that's something that,
Yeah.
It probably has made the job of policing a lot easier, but what do you think about that? In terms of,
No, not for me.
Okay, not for you personally.
Yeah. No, I think that, some people are very good with technology. Again, necessary, and we've got a great IT department here in Eden Prairie that does absolutely wonderful things for the police department to make sure that our technology needs are met and we can enhance what we do for the community. But I've always looked at technology, for me personally, is it tends to maybe take away, it increases efficiency, but it maybe minimizes some of the personal interactions with folks. For example, I think we're seeing some in the community that would like to see maybe online reporting. I'm a little bit more old school. I'd prefer to have an officer go to someone's home, get out of the car, shake their hand, talk to them about what the challenge is or what their service need is, rather than that online portal. But I have to recognize that the customer may desire that, and we work to provide that.
Well, it's a balance, because there is technology that can help you solve cases. I mean,
absolutely.
So much that you can do if you can find a phone or have the ability to access a phone that maybe was someone, license plate readers, body cameras.
Sure.
I think these are things that help the community and the department, but in a way you want to balance it with human interaction, right?
Yeah.
So that's it's still knowing you, the ability to meet face to face with people, and we can talk about that because you did quite a bit of that following George Floyd, talking to people face to face in Eden Prairie and their thoughts about what happened. But it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So you like to do things the old-fashioned way sometimes?
Well, yeah. I guess some might say I'm stubborn or a little antiquated, but that's okay.
What looking back, what would you say was the most rewarding aspect of being a police officer?
People. I've occasionally made the statement that it's you pay me good money to converse with people and build relationships, and when that's something that you really, really, really enjoy doing, boy, what a great mix that you're being compensated to do something you really enjoy, and every interaction I've had, I really, really love being around people and developing relationships with them.
Sure. No, you've absolutely done that in the time that I've known you, and I mean I did know you as a lieutenant and captain, deputy chief, and now chief. And I don't know. I mean, I think it would be important to mention some of what you were doing last summer after the George Floyd. I mean, just a little bit. That was a lot of people interaction and some intense people interaction.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like? This is again the Eden Prairie.
Sure.
It's the Eden Prairie experience.
Yeah, I think as a society, as a country, as a world, what we saw on video after George Floyd's death, there was a lot of anger and frustration, maybe from people that weren't even from that area. Obviously, that weren't from that area, and they had those concerns. And we had, people here in Eden Prairie that would reach out, and I think with what they saw, they had a lot of questions, they had a lot of concerns, they had fears, they had frustrations, they had anxieties, and to get out and listen and be empathetic and listen to what their frustrations were, I think is important to building those relationships. And we had what I would call maybe vigils in the community and parks and things of that nature. And I just really felt it was important to go out and meet with those folks and hear what their concerns were, and maybe answer questions, because they did have questions and concerns. So that was very, very unfortunate that we had to do that, but I think it was very important to do that.
Yeah, I mean, not that you're downplaying it, but when we did interviews for our city commissions, people apply for city commissions to be on parks and planning and human rights and diversity and other commissions, and we have one person who applied for a commission, and he said what spurred him to apply is that he sent you an email or left you a voicemail, I don't know which, after George Floyd, and you, I think you actually called him back or went to his house and spent like a half an hour talking with him individually about that situation and our police department, and he was just so impressed with that, and he said, I want to get involved with the city and I want to get on a commission. So I think, that's important for people to know that even in the most difficult situations that might not necessarily occur right here in our city, we're just deeply affected by that. And then, you being a police officer and the head of this department kind of being in the community and being accessible and having that dialogue was huge. So I want to say that.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when you hear the role of a police officer, it's to keep people safe. Physically, they call when something's happening, but I think we have to work equally as hard at making people feel emotionally safe too. They may feel physically safe in their home, but when they're seeing things go on that they question, that they don't like, it's important to listen to them and hopefully provide them with answers, or provide them with an ear in which that they can feel they were heard and might feel a little bit better about maybe strains that are created when we see things like George Floyd happen. And we can hopefully try and repair, rebuild, reinstitute that trust.
So maybe shifting gears a little bit, when you think about, well, first, here's a question I asked of the previous police chief.
Yeah.
Because it's a series of really kind of fun questions I think people want to know. Like, what is your favorite cop movie?
It'd be the Blues Brothers.
Not directly a cop movie, but a lot of cop activity, right? No, why? Talk about the Blues Brothers.
Oh, I could watch it over. You say it's not a cop movie, but remember when Elwood picked up Jake from prison, he was in the Mount Prospect City police car that he picked up at the auction, and it had cop tires, cop shocks. It had a 440 cubic inch plant.
No, you're right. It wasn't billed as a cop movie, but there's something. No, you're right. But it's one of the best movies ever made. I agree with you. The whole style of the movie, the music, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I like to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's a funny one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, stereotypical police officer. Do you live up to any of those stereotypes at all?
Which stereotype would you be speaking of?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Boy. What are the stereotypes of a cop?
There are so many.
Yeah.
Greg. Like, do you like donuts?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't mind a donut now and then.
Okay.
I've found that as I get older, I like the more basic, plain, just cake donut. Not a fancy person with donuts anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, donuts have become very fancy.
Yeah.
Now they're very fancy.
Yeah.
Might be breaking out of the cop
They're
stereotype.
putting bacon on top of them, and can't do it. No,
Okay.
Just give me the plain cake donut.
Absolutely. We talked about your career. You probably had to work all kinds of different shifts.
Yeah.
So did you have a preference or day shift, night shift? And we're going to get to, because I want you to start thinking ahead of time about fun and interesting calls. So we're going to work our way towards that.
Sure.
But day or night, or what was your preference?
So when I first started, you were on a team and you rotated through the 3 shifts, days, afternoons, and nights, and you just automatically did it every 2 months. And again, that as a brand new officer that really wanted variety, that was really, really cool. And I found, to me, more important than what shift I was working was who I was working with. I had a lot of really fun partners. I had a great sergeant. We had a lot of fun. But the nice thing about working nights is I got to avoid the administration. And yeah,
of what you are now.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, get out of there before they came in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want to hear about. I don't know if we call them stupid criminal stories. I don't know if that's fair, but I want to hear some. We all want to hear some.
Sure. Yeah. I think back, and they weren't necessarily calls that I was, super involved in, but I, as an Eden Prairie officer, a member of the team, I can recall a couple. We had a gentleman who was a burglar, and he had broken into a home and got hungry while he was there, and he heated up a corn dog and took a bite out of it, and then that must have satisfied his appetite, and he left the remainder of the corn dog behind, and the detective was able to link this burglar to the crime through DNA that he had left behind on the corn dog. And that same detective, I remember he had a case where I think it was Wells Fargo. It was a bank robbery where an individual robbed the bank, but he wrote the demand note on the back of his mother's check deposit slip and then left that behind. And they went over, well, let's go talk to her, and it was pretty easy to wrap that case up. So,
those are a few. It doesn't need a lot of deep detective work.
No, and you chuckle about it, and
Yeah. So, in terms of what you're looking forward to in retirement, what are you? What are some of your plans?
Well, I'm sure that my oldest daughter is getting married in September. Maybe after that, I'll look into. I've had a few people say, "Hey, come to work doing this, something that's a little less demanding," and maybe get back into working part-time or something just to stay busy. I've told people that I've heard rumor that there's a difference between a cardinal and a goldfinch, and I'm kind of excited to get out and maybe slow down, and enjoy what nature has to offer, and maybe I can just sit still for a little bit and kind of observe some of these things. So I don't think I'll become a professional bird watcher, but I think I might just enjoy a little bit of a slower pace and enjoy what life throws at me.
Yeah, because it's funny. One of the next questions I would have would be, how do you relax now after a hard day's work? And you don't. So the answer to that is I know, I'm kind of joking. You do and you don't. But I mean, you always have to be ready. But for now, what do you?
Lawn
mowing.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, give me a Honda and a set of earbuds and I'm happy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, we've had quite a bit of rain this past week, so you'll be busy for at least a good part of June.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Will you start mowing other people's lawns because yours is only so big? Right?
If they need the help, I'd be happy to.
Just kind of up and down the block.
I don't want to just assume they want me mowing their lawn. That might be kind of awkward for someone to look out and see me mowing their lawn. But if they want the help, I'm game.
Yes. So I'm not going to say where you live. I know you live in the city, but does everyone on the block know you're our police chief?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've had a few people stop by when I've been out doing yard work in the last week, just saying, "Hey,
can you go over to this intersection?"
No, I read you were retiring, and so But so I think some do. Yeah.
No, I kind of think about that. Going home and everyone on the block knows you're the police chief, so they might.
Yeah.
Not ask you to solve a crime per se.
No, haven't had that happen, but.
Do you? Okay, a couple other things. Among your friends and peers, what would you say you're best known for?
They would probably poke fun and laugh, and justifiably so, maybe some of my OCDs with cleanliness.
Okay.
Order, neatness.
Yeah. Can you give some examples of Like what's important for you to be neat and clean,
Oh,
kind of what you do.
yeah,
And I'm not making fun of it when I
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
no, that's good.
Maybe
That's
other
good.
people.
Yeah.
I just want to get a picture of this.
My therapist told me I needed the line straight in the yard because that was a compensation for a lack of control in other areas. But
Yeah.
you know,
Like I'll ask like in your wallet, are your do you have to have a certain order to the bills in your wallet?
correct.
And, okay.
Smallest bills forward.
Okay.
All facing the same direction, and I don't have many large bills, but as you get towards the back, yeah.
You get towards the back. Another litmus test. Would you iron your money?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a good test for
not
me.
anymore. I'm recovering. I'm trying to get better. Maybe a few years back I would have.
Okay. Yeah. No. That's kind of a litmus test I have for people to kind of for the cleanliness and organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told us about your garage. You told the directors about your garage.
Oh,
so
yeah.
a gift that you got from the department.
From one of the sergeants. Yeah.
What was that? And what tell us?
Well,
about that.
here's a little advertising. It's a product called Fabuloso, and boy, I'll tell you what. You clean out your whole garage and you sweep it, and then you put your Fabuloso down on the floor, and you kind of let the odor effervesce in the garage for an hour, and then you get your scrub brush out and your hose, and boy, a nice clean garage floor. And
Nothing better, huh?
No, and then when you hear the tires kind of turn in the car, it kind of makes that squeal because it's so clean. Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, you absolutely answered. You absolutely gave me examples and answered my question.
Keys, your key ring, you have to get your teeth all face the same direction and maybe line up shortest to longest.
On the key.
Yeah, on the key
Okay.
ring. Of course, one of our dispatchers, she got a hold of my key ring and messed him up one day. Had fun with that, but.
And that just threw you off for the rest of the day.
I didn't catch it right away. Yeah, no, she caught me. Yeah.
Is your stapler still in your office?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of a joke around here at the police department when you announce you're retiring. Some of your stuff, your gear, people want and they come and take, and for the most part they ask, but you find things that are missing. It's like, hey, what happened to my stapler?
Yeah, you won't need that anymore.
No,
absolutely. Chief, if you could give everybody one piece of advice, what would your piece of advice be?
Be kind. Be kind to other people. In the last 31 years, I think you get called into dark moments in people's lives, and you get a flavor for some of the challenges that many people have in their lives that maybe on the outside you don't know anything about. And there's a lot of good in the world, so please don't misinterpret that it's all negative. But you see some of the dark moments in people's lives, and you see some of the things that they struggle with, and I don't think that you will ever go wrong or fail by simply being kind to other people, because you just don't know what is going on in their life.
Yeah, good advice. What would you say that you're most grateful for?
Oh, the people I work with, my family. I've been extremely fortunate here in Eden Prairie. I've had so many opportunities, so I'm grateful for my career. My health, I think, is pretty good. I could probably drop a few pounds, but yeah, a lot of good things that my life. I've been very fortunate in life, and I'm grateful for everything that I've been given.
So many people would say police officers are their heroes. Who would you say, Greg, is your hero?
I'd be my wife. I'm extremely fortunate. People say, kick your coverage, but boy, did I marry up. I am so extremely fortunate. The life that she's given us as a family. She's just a wonderfully gracious, kind, forgiving person that, boy, I don't know if I'd be where I'm at today if it weren't for my wife.
A couple more kind of fun if you right now had to give a 40-minute presentation on with absolutely no preparation at all, what would your presentation be on?
Probably, I could talk about the people I work with here in Eden Prairie, and I would say beyond the police department. I think we have, give or take, 270 full-time employees here and many part-time employees. But when you look at the city of Eden Prairie as an employer, as an organization, we're in the service-related business, and we have 6 different departments and the services we provide to the community. But I've occasionally said that with the mindset, the attitude, the talent level within this city, and the employees they have, I think we could switch our business model tomorrow and be successful at just about anything we set our mind to, because we do have so many good people that work for the city, and how they bring their A game every day. I love walking through City Hall. I love walking through the maintenance facility with our park and rec maintenance employees, and streets and fleets, and just there are so many good people that just always have a positive attitude and really enjoy being here. And that's infectious. You want to be around people that are happy in their environment because it makes you happy. So I think I could really talk about examples of people, certain employees that they just come around, and in their presence you just become happier because they're good people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Positive attitude is very infectious. And you even, you said early in your career, anything, you'd avoid that police administration. But, and now you are the police administration,
Yeah.
but you don't avoid the city administration either.
No,
so that's good.
no.
I know. I mean, the maintenance facility and the facilities and IT and all the other departments. I know you converse with all of them, but you don't avoid city administration.
No,
so I appreciate that.
No, and if I could just clarify on that, the police administration that was in place when I was brand new. Oh my gosh, what wonderful people!
You just didn't really want to talk to them.
I didn't want to be in their way.
I know.
I knew they were busy, and it's like they don't need me creating headaches for them, or just go out and do your job. But I look at my past and some of those folks that were in place, and I joke that avoiding administration, but boy, really, the history of this department, so many good people.
Yeah, and I know you connect. I mean, the neat thing is, and your retirement event is later today, and again, when this is being aired, that had been passed. But to see the people that come back is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like I've met people who worked for the police department long before I got here.
Yeah.
So I've met them.
Yeah.
They retired 10 years before I even came here. It's pretty neat to see all those people come back.
Yeah.
The previous chiefs and even any officers.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat to see. What would be something that most people haven't done that you have?
Well, this is a great example. How many people get the privilege of being on Real Talk with Rick?
Did someone set you up to say that?
No, you pay me. No, I'm
no,
exactly.
No. I suppose you're one of what, Johnny? He's like one of almost 40 people.
Yeah.
We have to count like the fire chief twice, maybe like one of 36, 37 people. But no, Greg, if that's near the top, you haven't done much.
Yeah. Well, professionally, one of the things that I and thank you to the city for allowing me to do this. But a few years back, I was allowed to go to the FBI Academy, and I moved out to Quantico, Virginia, for 3 months, and I think they say about 0.5% of law enforcement will get the opportunity to do that. So that was really a cool experience that I'll have always have these really cool memories of.
Yeah, I think you've talked about, you met a lot of people throughout the country.
Yeah.
That you've maintained friendships with.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
What's something that you're interested in that most people wouldn't have any idea or expect?
Well, yeah, I think you found out. Maybe you just found out yesterday, but
that's new information to me. Yes.
Yeah, I like otters. I've always really liked otters. River otters, sea otters, and I've tried to devise a plan. I've got a stormwater holding pond in my backyard or in my neighborhood, and I think it'd be kind of cool to stock it with otters because they could kind of come out in the morning and you could maybe feed them and develop a relationship with them, give them a high five in the morning. But everything I've been studying, I don't think it's going to work.
It's not going to work.
No.
Is it from a city perspective with zoning and animal control? Is it pass muster with them?
I don't know if that's so much it, but talking to people that people that follow the rules, Greg. People are saying that they couldn't survive in that environment. They need I think moving water for otters that are live in this local area, and what they would do in the winter.
Was there like a moment where you were somewhere on vacation, or like where was it like these otters are awesome, this is really cool? Was there a time when you first came in contact with otters and that?
No, you see videos of them, and if you've ever seen them, like they kind of look like, they got a nice fur, and they look happy, and so you see them eating and enjoying life. And if you've ever been to like an aquarium where you watch them play, you look through the glass and they're having fun.
Yeah.
They're playing, and I don't know.
I've that's where I've seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in an aquarium.
There's a really neat one up in Duluth. And, there's all kinds of other things to go look at, but if we're there, I generally spend all my time. My family's off somewhere else, and I'm like, hey, look at the otters playing.
Yeah. No, that's great. Any nicknames that you've had throughout your life?
They've called me Webb in the past. I don't know where they came up with that.
Yeah, something related to the last name.
Could be.
I do like one of your signatures, and your email is sent from the quote-unquote web.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah, that's just on my phone.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of that. So if you win the lottery, what would be the first thing that you would purchase? Can't with the otters, but
okay. I think it'd be really cool. I like to ride a motorcycle. I think it'd be cool to maybe put some money in your pocket and head out and just find people that are down on their luck and help them out.
Yeah.
Giving it away, I think, would be more fun for me than buying something. I don't really have a whole lot of wants in life, so.
That reminds me. It takes me back to the department right now in terms of what we did, what you championed over the holidays. You're nodding because you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Can you mention that really quick?
Yeah.
Because I think that's neat.
Well, and it was I think other departments had done it, but our crime prevention fund, who they're wonderful people that raise money for reward money and maybe purchasing things that taxpayers shouldn't pay for, whether it be handouts to kids, icebreakers, things of that nature. But with COVID and a lot of the maybe frustrations or the emotions over the last year, the crime fund came and said, hey, how about if we give every officer a $50 bill, and we'd simply like you to go out throughout your day and identify somebody that could just use a little help, a little pick-me-up. And we didn't want to collect any data with regards to the individual's name, but just a real quick 2-3 sentence synopsis of who you gave the money to. And that's it was new to us, and the officers are like, well, how is this going to work? And it's like, hey, no questions asked, just go out and find somebody that could probably use a little help. And we did. It was really, really well received by the community, but more importantly, I think the officers really, really enjoyed it too, because so often, as police officers, you're called when bad things happen, or you're called when people need something. There's never this opportunity to be I'm going to cold call and make someone's day. So I think that the officers probably got just as much out of that psychologically as maybe the recipient of the $50 who could use maybe a tank of gas or something along those lines.
Sure. No, that was a neat program. You mentioned that when you did your report to the council. That's great. So I'm picturing, lottery or no lottery, I'm seeing lawns being mowed, garages being cleaned, motorcycles being ridden, music being played, money being given away, children getting married, your family, spending time with them. So kind of looking ahead, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate.
Yeah. So, Chief Weber, I really appreciate you kind of doing this on your last day or two
Yeah.
and coming in. And I just want to give you maybe the last word, if you have the last word before we wrap up.
Yeah. 31 years, and I would say that the key to the success of our organization and the community is the relationship we have with the community. So often we get tokens of gratitude from the community in terms of dropping off, some type of maybe a plate of cookies or something along those lines, or nice emails or nice voicemails of people just saying, hey, we support the police. I think it's important to note that our officers are very grateful for those tokens, but they're also grateful for the relationship. And sometimes people say, we've got a great police department, and I believe we do. But I would also say, hey, we've got great residents, and we could not be successful if it wasn't for the many, many great residents we have that want a good community. They want a high quality of life. And to that effect, as I said earlier, it goes beyond the police department. It's every city employee in Eden Prairie. There's just this internal drive to make sure that our residents are happy and they enjoy their life that they live here in Eden Prairie. And it all comes down to those relationships and making sure we're taking care of one another.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for your 31 years of service to the city.
Thank you.
And you'll be missed.
Yeah.
You'll be missed, but you have a plan, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.